is all digital so that there's no tapes involved in it. So our production time is drastically reduced now because we moved from a pure digital into a digital editing and then push out. So we don't have to render from tape over to digital and then edit after that point. And we've also, the board has also outlined the second phase of development that they want to see after we get the new content up and running. Like I said, David retired in April. We added the new staff. And right now, based on the way that the staffing has been done, with Melissa as our one full-time employee and our second person as a part-time, we're looking at about $42,000 in labor cost going forward, which is significantly less than what we had before. Our overall cost total is about $53 and some change total is what it's costing us to maintain that department. Like I said, we have chosen GranburyTV.org as our primary channel on the internet. We also have some other domains, some that were left over from the past. In addition, we've got GranburyTV.com. We've got a couple of others. I've got like 5 total domain names that we've got. They're all tied back to GranburyTV.org, so that even if somebody goes to try and find us and puts in something that was old, they can still get to us. We're on 4 separate venues. We're on Charter on Channel 27. We're on AT&T on Channel 99, and Channel 99 on AT&T is not just here in Granbury. It basically is anything in the North Texas service area. So that if you are in Dallas or Fort Worth and you go to their Channel 99 for government, you can scroll down and actually find Granbury TV on there. And we are on Uverse. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with Uverse. Uverse is an online streaming company actually developed by a Granbury graduate. And it does a lot of different online live streams. We chose them because it was a Granbury graduate. They have a lot of large customers. The U.S. government is one of them that does a lot with them as well. And then we're on YouTube. The issues that we've got with our venues is AT&T and Charter are unable to give us any statistical viewing information. They don't track how many viewers or what the viewership is on their PEG channels. And so it's very hard for us to take that to any business that is looking to this as, okay, I'm going to sponsor you, but I want to get some advertising dollars out of this. I want to see it as that. I want to see that return. We don't have any statistical information that we can give them. We do, however, have that on Ustream and YouTube. And we've actually had enough viewers on YouTube that YouTube granted us unlimited video link, which is you have to have so much viewership before YouTube will allow you to put that size video up. So I do know that on YouTube we do get quite a few views of what we're posting daily. In Ustream, you can usually go in and see there's 3 or 4 people watching at some point during the day what we're streaming on Ustream. Ustream is really what we're trying to focus on in that area is those people with satellite, the people that have dish or direct who cannot get what we're broadcasting on the PEG. This is the main screen of our website. Here's what we've focused on development right now on that website. As you can see right in the middle, if this was a live shot of the website, you would actually see what was being broadcast live on Charter and on AT&T on the Ustream, the user would just click on one of the run arrows in the main window, and it actually streams what we're putting out live. The on-demand is our YouTube piece. So if you click on that, you actually can go over and select whatever it is that you want to pick, whether it be the news or an interview or a special show. We're running Sponsor of the Week on the left side and links to all of our sponsors on the right, so that the sponsors will at least have also not just the fact that they're sponsoring a show, but they've got these are links directly back to their website so that they've got additional web presence. We've also added our levels of membership. We also have that being more focused towards the commercial side. We also have memberships for individuals, just like similar to what KERA does, where we've got links on there where you can actually go into PayPal and make a donation to the TV station at any level. So this is how they came up with, how do we add new content to the station? How do we go from what we were, which is commissioners meetings repeated hour after hour, and council meetings repeated hour after hour, and football games repeated hour after hour. How do we get this to be content driven? And what they did is they sat down and we had this brainstorming session to come up with what could we come up with that would meet 4 criteria that the board established is, if we're going to do new programming, let's come up with what's the criteria for that programming. And these are the 4 focus points that they came up that they wanted that content to meet. In that total list, there was about 12 or 14 programming ideas that everybody came up with. We made a total list, and then we ranked them based on these 4 criteria. We also were looking at, is there anything else that we haven't, is there anything else that we can do really quickly to get on? One of the things that Melissa has done that was not on this list, that just came, an idea from the community, was the Arts Council came up to Melissa and said, we want to do an arts program. It wasn't on our list, but because it was, the ideas were already there. All of these things that we were looking for were already there. So she is in her 2nd month, I believe. 3rd month. We're
going into the 4th.
Going on the 4th month, okay. Our 4th month of producing that program, and they came with sponsorship. So it met a whole lot of our criteria. Not only was it ease of production because the ideas were already there, but it also had sponsorship. So it had the money behind it to go ahead and put this up. And so we're in our 4th month of that. So we scored and ranked all these ideas. And rather than focus on a big list, they narrowed it down to the top 5 based on that ranking. These are the top 5 programs, new content, that the board is pushing now to push out. And the Granbury Gardening is currently in production now. We have not rolled anything out. And they also, when they came up with the ideas of the new content, they put this into phases. They created a phase 1 of what do we want to get to right away that we can easy picking fruit, what can we do? And they want to move towards a positive cash flow. And when they say positive, what they really mean is a neutral cash flow. We want enough money coming in to pay for what we're producing and the man hours that are taken to produce that product out the door. So we're looking at pilot program sponsorships. Melissa has gotten one new sponsorship here recently, that was Daffin Mechanical. Like I said, the Art Council came with the idea of the program and the sponsorship with the program. We've moved to try and push memberships, individual memberships, rather than on the commercial side. One of the other things that they're wanting to do in the coming months is add a note to the city water bill that talks about this membership program, so that the individuals getting the water bill We did a similar thing with the parks, about donating a park dollar to the Parks Department or to the Parks Board. In phase 2, they want to expand the Granbury TV resources. And what they mean by that is one of the things that came out in the council meeting yesterday was, okay, so we've got these new programs that we've laid out, and we're going to go produce them. How do we sell that to the community? How do we sell that to the businesses? Well, one of the things that we tried to concentrate on with these programs was target your program towards specific businesses. So like in the gardening, okay, we could target that towards the businesses that are in town that are focused on gardening. Home improvement. We do a home improvement show, we target that towards selling that idea to Lowe's, to Home Depot. That type of targeting is what they're looking at. But when you target that and you got to sell it, well, Melissa is just a little bit covered up by herself right now. Even when she had a part-time, she was a little covered up. So in our second phase, we want to move towards, once we get the content developed and we really see that we can sell this idea, we're going to have to move towards staffing a position that is focused at selling these sponsorships so that we can move on and develop the rest of that 10 or 12 that are on that list that we didn't focus on. And I guess you can see the bottom one there. They would like to develop a relationship with Weatherford so that we can get some additional technical expertise possibly, or even additional interns, that this is one of the focuses of their education. It really worked really well with Lauren. I was really pleased with what we got from her, as even though she was only here 6-8 weeks, her contribution was really good because she came from that background, from an education background of journalism, and she was working with WFAA, so she brought some new ideas. It was really refreshing to see some of the new ideas that she brought. So I really see this as we get into phase 2, this is going to be really important in developing that relationship. Any questions? Comments, gripes, complaints?
Thank you,
Tony. You can talk to him about that.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Just again, a couple things to remember, that this is really a repackaging of what we've had in the past, and nobody in this room has had more pain and suffering with respect to Channel 27 than I have. Especially when I was on the school board, we got pounded about it constantly. All right. So all the things that are concerns of yours are concerns of mine. You notice that I'm on that board too, to try to redevelop something that you're willing to participate in. I hope that you guys will take this back to your various sundry organizations and say, yeah, let's talk about, again, even if nothing more to say we don't want to do it right now, let's talk about what we can do with Granbury Public Television. And specifically, let me speak to the school. Our intent as we go forward is not the school as an organization funding this. If the FFA wants to do something with live animals out there at the barn, or if the football team wants to go and do reprograms of their football games, or basketball, or anything along those lines, I believe, and we believe, that it is the responsibility of that supporting group, their booster club or whatever, to say we're going to pay for this particular thing. We're not going to have this relationship directly with the Granbury School Board unless it's specifically got to do with school board and school-related items that are focused more on a educational type arrangement. So that's kind of where we're at with that. We're not trying to push something on you that you don't already have. We will let this thing grow as it comes. That is one of the good benefits of having the city now as the underwriting sponsor of the whole thing, but we are doing what we can to offset those costs. So again, that's sort of where we're at with Granbury Television. We're happy with the progress that we've made over a short period of time. Now, the second item that I wanted to talk about today, number one, was introducing David. He is our representative here in the local community for Weatherford College. He is now, and I've had several things that I've already worked with him on in the last week or two since he's been on the ground, saying, all right, David, know anybody at Weatherford College other than the 1 or 2 people that I've met. Here's what I need an answer for. All right, and gave it to him, and he's done an excellent job so far in chasing those things down. Before this meeting, I had several emails and questions when I asked for topics, and the number one thing I think right now that we're looking for an answer for, or 1 and 2, and I'll have him speak to these things, is number one, where are we at with the building itself, making sure it's up and running. I know there's some construction going on. I know there's several other things. But the second thing, as we progress towards opening up the college, is how are we going to get a local presence for that registration purpose right now? And I think that's the biggest questions that we have. So David, if you will, speak to those things. And then after that, any other questions you guys have or want to talk about, we'll whip that out and we'll go to about 10:15, 10:20, and then we'll walk back downstairs.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I'm passing around some brochures. If you'll take those, I have extras and a good many others in the car. Again, my name is David Russell. On behalf of Dr. Kevin Eaton, President of Weatherford College, and the Weatherford College family, we are delighted to be in this community. This is something that the Granbury and Hood County community have wanted for some time, as well as it has been a desire of Weatherford College. Mr. Mayfield and other members of the Granbury ISD and community got together with Dr. Eaton, and they have made this happen, and we are very excited to be here. The Granbury ISD has provided, of course, the building, which is a marvelous building, a great deal of potential. I like to say that it is a wonderful building, but it needs lots of love, and we are attempting to do that. We have begun with some minor construction. We had a couple of rooms that had 3/4 walls in them. We went ahead and continued those walls to create more classroom space. We have begun the process, should be this afternoon at the latest, and in fact you'll see folks in there at night. We're working on the air conditioning units. We're having to replace several motors. The cooling station, I believe, is about 20 years old, but it seems to work just fine. Occasionally, one of the ISD HVAC guys will come over and caress it, and it'll just kick right on and work wonderfully. But we do have several motors that need replacing. We've got HVAC people who are going to be in there. We still have much more to do. The most important is the electrical upgrade to be able to have computer labs and other resources for registration, as well as assessment, tutorial assistance. We need those computers in there. They draw a lot of amps, and so the Granbury ISD has made a very generous investment in helping us to make the electrical upgrade. Our networking people, we hope, are going to be in there to upgrade the network the 1st of August at the very latest. Right now, basically, we're waiting on ordered equipment to get here. And as you IT people know, it has to be configured once all of the stuff is ordered, and it has to arrive on site, and our people have to put it in. So our goal now is, first of all, as you can see on the brochure, we're having informational meetings. This next Tuesday, I will be there. We will have representatives from Student Affairs. We will also have some of our teachers there. We will have our teacher who is going to be on site teaching our developmental and algebra math classes. She is going to be there to explain how she conducts her classes, how she manages her classes. We're going to be talking about how we support our math classes as well as our reading, writing, English classes. We will talk briefly about the registration process. I'll mention that in just a moment. We'll also have folks from our Career and Transfer Center there. We work very closely with students to help them feel more comfortable in their career goals. We'll also have, I'm working to get our English teacher and a few other representatives. We're also going to have an informational session the following Saturday in hopes of getting more participation. But we are working to be available to the Granbury community, because the fact of the matter is we serve at your pleasure. We are here to serve your students. We are here to help them be successful. I know my generation, when I went to college and folks would ask me, you know, why you're going to college, I would, of course, parrot the typical boomer response to get a well-rounded education. Well, I'm already well-rounded enough, as you can well see. The fact is, you ask any student now why they want a college education, and they will tell you quite clearly and quickly, I want an education to get a good job, to have a successful career, to be able to support my family, and I hope in their thinking to be able to give back to my community. Now, of course, in the process of making them successful in their career, we want them to get a well-rounded education. And so we are emphasizing at the campus what we call the basic core curriculum. The ancient Greeks and Romans called it the humanities. That is the way we translate it now, or the liberal arts. But our goal is to allow these students to be able to be assessed and to reflect upon what their career goals are as they begin to register for classes, which brings me to the second point, registration. One of the things that we have been trying to teach students, and I came from a university. I came from the University of Texas Arlington, where I advised over there and worked in their interdisciplinary studies department. One of the things I noticed when I came to the community college, and I also teach at Tarrant County College. You know, when you're in education, you need more than one job these days. And I still teach at Tarrant County College online in their philosophy department. When I came to the community college, one of the things I've noticed that during registration, and I and Dr. Eaton have worked registration for many, many years. We enjoy doing that, but the students would show up, and basically we would say, because we had so many students showing up, what do you want to take this semester? When in reality, what we wanted to ask them was, what is your career goal? Are you working a full-time job or a part-time job? Because those things are going to impact the number of classes that they take. In my experience teaching on the campus, Northwest Campus, Tarrant County, as well as advising, is that many students who drop out do so because they just get overwhelmed. And they begin to drop assignments. And then they don't show up for class. And one of the things Dr. Eaton has always told students as we go out to our area high schools is the difference between high school and college is Mama's not there to make you go to college. Well, there's some truth to that. And what happens is these students get overwhelmed, they drop classes, they don't stay in class. So our goal at the Education Center at Granbury, as well as at Weatherford College, is to talk with these students in a pre-advisement session about their career goals, about what they are doing in their own lives, how that is going to impact the courses that are selected, as well as their success in the courses, and then we are going to train them to register. In the past, we registered for them. We're trying to help them register. Our experience has been when these students are held by the hand a little bit too much when they get to university, they get lost. So at the university, my experience was, guys, you're grown-ups, we're going to throw you out in the water and let you swim. Community college, we don't think that way. We think, okay, yes, you are moving toward adulthood, or you perhaps are adults, but our goal is to be of service to you and help you in any way we can. So we try to find a middle ground with registration. So our initial information sessions will be followed by initial advisory sessions. That will then, by that time we're hoping our techs will have us up and running, and we will then be available for students to come on site, if necessary, and register. Because the fact of the matter is, they can register at home or anywhere they want to. Most often they come in to us because they've been a student at Weatherford College and they've been blocked for non-payment of some kind of fee, or perhaps they're on probation. And so we have to go in the back door of the system and clear them, which I can't do until our network is up and running at the college. Other than that, we would have to stay on the phone and call them. So our step now is informational sessions following very quickly in the following weeks, with advisory sessions for the students, and then we're going to be available for registration as needed. Now, as far as the building, we have moved in chairs. We have tables coming. I have been procuring items around the campus. In fact, they've got security following me around now, just in case I procure too many items. For transportation down here, we have a several storage units at Mineral Wells. So we're going to load up trailers beginning next week. We're bringing over classroom desks for the teachers, as well as additional chairs and things of that nature. The fact of the matter is, folks, we're not moving as fast as we want, but we're moving as fast as we can. Do you have questions?
Is most of the hammer and nail work done?
As far as the construction is, yes. So we have some touch-up painting to do. The fact of the matter is, Granbury ISD keeps their facilities up very well. So the building, I think, has been painted a couple of years ago. Ron, I think that's what Greg told me. And so we have some touch-up paint to do. We've got whiteboards that we cannot replace the blackboards, because the blackboards we unfortunately found out by trying to raise one has, what is that, liquid nails on the back that's adhered to the blocks, and the only way to get rid of the liquid nail is to grind it down. So we're going to put that blackboard back up, and then on the opposite wall we are going to put some nice whiteboards and some screens or projectors. And what we're also having to do is we'll probably use rolling projectors or rolling carts for probably at least a year, because of the difficulty of adhering or mounting, if you will, projectors to the ceiling. That is something down the road we're hoping maybe you can put drop ceilings into the room, because that way you can tidy up all of your and use flexible conduit and so on and so forth, tidy up everything, make it look very nice. But yes, to answer your question, I usually tell people more than they want to know. That's unfortunate. But yes, as far as hammer and nails, everything's done. We've got to do some touch-up painting. The carpets have been cleaned. But electrical upgrade is the major. I think wire's running about $15. Somebody told me a foot or something. And I think that's aluminum. So anyway, it's a challenge. But like I said, Granbury ISD has really made an investment to help us get settled in at the campus. Also, someone told me, I think, that the parking lot had gone in. I haven't had a chance to run by there to see it.
Got the base material in, and they're going to soak that thing down and then pack it some more and let it sit for about a week before we put the top coat on it. So it probably won't get, the top coat won't be put on until about the 8th of August or something like that.
Great. Yeah, that road base has got it.
We figure if we get it in by the 15th of August, we'll be in pretty good shape. So probably should be in by the 10th.
Wonderful. And we're part of our responsibility is as far as the electrical upgrade is we don't have lights on the outside. There really wasn't need for lights because no night classes. Well, we're putting light packs up there. We're getting the signs, but that's in process. So we're not moving as fast. Consider this a race between the turtle and the hare. And right now we've got somebody riding on the back of the turtle, whipping him, and that would be me.
All right, great, David.
Thank you so much.
A couple of them along the same lines is discussion points we need to have. Obviously, getting the parking lots is a thing that needs to get done. I think the next big thing that I'm somewhat concerned about and needs some discussion is putting up some signs on the major highways, especially 377, that points to here is the campus. All right, I don't necessarily know that those have to be permanent signs, but at least for some short period of time, we've got to do a good job of getting people. I always talk about this building and say it's the old elementary school. All right, and for the old Granbury people that I talk to, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But there are fewer and fewer of those to go around, so we need to begin to hone the message on how we're referring to this building, where we're saying it's located. Another way I use for directional purpose. I say, well, it's on the other side of the building from Decker Gym, all right? Because you can drive by and you can see the sign at Decker Gym, and then everybody says, okay, well, it's on the other side of the building from there. So we really need to begin to work on simple things like signage, like getting the message out location. But the key most important thing is now as we begin to have these informational classes and we begin to do those things, it's our responsibility to get folks there, all right? And talk about it in your various sundry places of work or the avenues in which you operate. I think it'd be a fine. I know that there is some misinformation going around a lot of different places. High school is one of them about what this thing is going to be. We need to get our high school teachers down there to say, ask your questions. Let's get it out in the open. You got some. We have not addressed any issue that has come up. We have hit everything head on. I've been very upfront with what we are trying to accomplish, and I intend for that to continue to be the way we operate with respect to this. So, this is the governmental coalition or intergovernmental working thing. So one of the things we need to talk about is how government and politics is going to affect what we are doing. One thing that everybody needs to be aware of is the fact that we are moving from the congressional district that we were in into a new congressional district. Our new congressional district is going to go from Granbury, Texas to New Mexico, okay? Far flung. I don't even know who it's going to be or if this is one of those new districts that's being created. Now, obviously, that district redistricting has not had the test of the court system yet, so nothing is set in stone until that is done. But I think for the most part we can expect to continue to have our state rep and state senator will both continue to stay in place. I believe that is going to be the case. But we are going to most likely get a new congressional representative. As we continue to move forward with things and we get past this initial up and running of the college, then we will begin to discuss phase 2. All right, and phase 2 is adding additional, is rounding out this community college plan, but beginning to add on the other things that we've talked about all along that we want. Item number 1 on that is the 3rd and 4th year classes with a Tarleton or a University of North Texas or whoever it is we have to go out there and get to make it where we can have that kid can have that 4-year experience without ever having to leave this campus. That's item number 1 on the agenda for phase 2. Item number 2 is to begin to discuss the more technical classes like a welding or a culinary arts program, and HEB has been very good in working with us up to this point on at least discussing getting something up and running. I mean, a lot of times this thing takes a lot of discussion. Welding, culinary arts, the part that I am most concerned with and putting the most effort into is taking this nursing program soup to nuts, all the way from that kid that's making that choice in the 10th grade to say, I want to take nursing classes in the high school, and I'm beginning to take my anatomy and physiology, and I'm getting to get my pharmacy tech, or I'm seeking this new EMT program that we have that, and I hope we've secured it. Well, we don't know. If you're an EMT certified teacher, Granbury wants to talk to you. I think that's right, because there ain't a whole lot of those on the ground.
There's a lot of EMT teachers, but there's not.
Yeah, a lot of EMTs, and there's a lot of teachers, but very few with both of them together.
Exactly.
And I ain't doing it.
But the way we see this thing playing out, and the reason why the hospital has participated so much, is we can take a student in the 10th grade, take them through figuring out that the healthcare field is a pretty good field to be in, and that has a lot of growth potential as far as I can see into the future. All right, getting them in there, then getting them enrolled in Weatherford College to take their first 2-year classes, plus get that whatever nursing certification it is that you can achieve at the community college level, and then transition them straight from there into Tarleton to get that BSN or that nursing thing, and even go on further now. I think they're doing Masters of Nursing. It has a name, MS or MSN or something like that. And now we take a kid that's 22, 23 years old that has all the education they're ever going to need to do what? Come to work for us at the hospital with a starting pay of about $30 an hour. All right. You know, so, and working 3 shifts of 12 hours. That's 36 hours a week at $30 an hour. It's pretty doggone good salary, plus benefits, plus everything else we pay on top of that. We have such a hard time recruiting. Not so much a problem with us as it is with our fellow hospitals around us, recruiting and retaining nurses. And we've made the decision that this is an investment we're more than willing to make. Because it costs us less to grow our own, and it will certainly be more tied to us and be a better employee in taking care of their friends and family that they grew up with than anybody else we can recruit in here from anywhere else. It's a great opportunity. It's a great investment for us. I hope that as we continue to work on this stuff, that we will see that these same kind of relationships can be built in other businesses that are here in the community. Obviously, anything to do with food and entertainment can benefit from having a culinary arts program. Hospitality, and we have plenty of hotels, and we've been talking downstairs about what came here on 4th of July. You know, when you have as many people here with as much economic impact as they had, we need people to work, more people that want to work. And the thing that I continue to hear from all the businesses that I talk to is the same thing. It's not that we don't have jobs open in Granbury. We have jobs open in Granbury right now. We cannot find skilled labor to fill those positions. We have positions of high quality, high pay open at the hospital right now, and maybe, if we're lucky, we're getting 1 or 2 applicants that are of a level that you would even want to interview. Only way we're going to change that is through education. All right, and that's the same message that I'm going to give when we're downstairs, is that, you know, working on this college is an investment, all right, and Ron says that all the time. We have started thinking about education, especially public education, as an expense. Time to turn the tide back to saying this is an investment. If we don't make the investment, we will pay the piper 10 years from now. So with that, those are the 2 formal things that we had to talk about. Are there other things that we want to discuss? I'll ask Jackie if he can give us kind of an update on where the construction and remodeling of the courthouse is, because I know they're making some big changes technology-wise in that building.
Certainly. Went by this morning by the new site for the school, and it looked like the guys were out there already this morning. They were working on completion of the base, and as Ron was saying, they're going to probably saturate that and get it and let it set up for a while, so that when we do pave that, you'll have something substantial there. And part of that is just the curing process, like anything. Just a little update on the courthouse. We are running just a little bit, you know, behind just because of weather and other things that come up on and hold up. So many things that I probably could go on for an hour. But I will tell you, I've lived here all of my life in Hood County, and the first time that I walked into the courtroom and saw it opened up, it was truly amazing to see what it was in its original state. Ever since I was a kid, you would look at the courtroom and you'd see that it was just a center courtroom, and then the county court on one side, and then clerk's offices on the other side. Never did most of this generation see this courthouse as it's going to be seen now. All of the concrete floors have been completed, and that includes the first floor entryways and the areas that were over where the record areas were before. A lot of the woodwork along the bottom third of the wall is being completed. They're sanding on that, getting the staining and that sort of thing done. A lot of the work along the walls as far as the plastering and things has been completed. It's gone just about all the way up. This week we transferred power over to permanent power with the city. So the building actually has converted now to being fully powered. I think Friday is going to be the day that they actually start to power up some of the water pumps and do their first phase of checks. There's just a series of checks that goes on for several weeks with this new geothermal system. So they're going to start staging that, and it's just a step process that goes through there. There's some other items that are going in and around the courthouse. A lot of the trim and the painting on the second floor. The third floor, for the most part, is fairly complete. Those rooms are going to be the least used because they're not ADA acceptable. You can't access those rooms by elevator or anything. But those are the most complete at this point, and they're just working their way down, completing the rooms as they come along. The technology standpoint, we had some significant hurdles to get past with that, trying to work with the state, because this needed to be a working courtroom, but in the same aspect we had to keep it historically correct. And so there were many discussions, you know, face-to-face, toe-to-toe discussions about how we were going to accomplish giving people the technology that they wanted and maintaining the historic value of the building. And there is some give and take in there. We tried to meet that in the middle as best as we could and provide, number one, an adequate area where people can come to meet in a public meeting, that they can hear, that we can record appropriately, and that we can also display the things that we needed to display, much like what the city does here. So we've tried to go a long ways. We're using a lot of the newest, you know, technology, just as the city did in this building. We've used a lot of the newest technology to do our screens and to do our microphones and everything in the building. So every cable in the building is brand new. Every telephone connection is going to be a new connection. It has not been without its challenges, because I can tell you, whenever you're dealing with a building of that age, it's got a lot more challenges. Cabling and mounting things to the wall and getting a wire from point A to point B takes on a whole new meaning. But we've been very fortunate. We've had great people to work with. My team has been fantastic. We're working with a good company out of Austin that's been doing our AV setup for us. And I'd be glad to answer any questions, Kevin, if anybody has any questions about the courthouse or where it is right now in that process. If anybody's got any.
I think one of the things that I'm curious about is how this and you know, how this geothermal thing is going to work, because is it really going to deliver the savings that y'all are talking about? That's
you know, not knowing that from a historic building standpoint. I think that's one of the questions that even I, coming into this as a newcomer, had, and speaking with the people that install these all the time. Their answer to me is, without equivocation, that it will support this building. My main concern is that this is an older building. It doesn't have the same insulation factors and things of that nature that newer structures have. How is that going to be compensated for? And they assured me that was all taken into account whenever they designed the system. And as I say, in this week, they're going to start to pressurize some of those wells. They're going to make sure that some of the motors are turning, that things are working the right direction. We covered some of that in the courthouse meeting yesterday, that they're going to start priming that system, and it has a startup phase that it will have to go through. I know that the city is going to be coming in, and Mayor Pratt can speak to this. They're going to be trying to do some upgrades to the electrical system for the square to help the events on the square, because a lot of times now, as the events on the square have grown, there's a lack of power for all the people that come and the vendors that come to do the things on the square. So the city's trying to jump in now and take an opportunity to upgrade that so that as events come, they'll be able to supply them with their power needs. And if we do it now, then it also will negate any need of trenching through the parking lot, something like that, after we get everything finalized and put in there.
I've never heard who and what's going to be in the courthouse when it's finished.
At present, the plan for the courthouse is going to be, there will be a JP there. At the moment, that is Danny Tuggle will be a JP there. The county judge will have his office there. There will also be a constable from Precinct 4 that will also be housed in that building as well. The historic, I'm trying to remember if it's commission, will have an area there that's going to be on display so that there will be a place that you can go and there will be some artifacts and things of that nature there. So most of the first floor is going to be office space. JP and his office where people can come and apply for the things or pay their fees and their fines there. The county judge will have his office and his support staff there that he has, and then on the second floor we'll have a constable. The JP will be using that courtroom as well as also slated to be used as Commissioner's Court meeting area as well. There's a couple of other rooms on the second floor. One of those is basically a break area where people can go in there and have a place for their drinks and things of that nature. And then one is a counseling type area so that whenever you do have attorneys and that need to come outside the courtroom, they can go off into that room. A lot of times they do a lot of business just outside of the courtroom, you know, preparing paperwork and things of that nature before they come in. That's the majority of the people that are going to be there. There's going to be obviously some on and off meetings used for the third floor. We have plans for that. We've tried to make sure that if we need an extra space at times that we'll have this space available to us, that we can utilize the whole courthouse as much as possible.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, sir.
I think we're about done and wrapped up. We'll kind of head back downstairs and get ready for the together session. So, all right.